Good morning. All right. Well, I want to welcome all of you to Grand Rounds today. I'm George Ruiz. I'm the Chief of Cardiology here at Good Sam. And if you may not know, this is Heart Month. February is typically Heart Month. It's the month we celebrate love and hearts and all good things. And so I asked Alex, I want to bring a good friend of mine to give Grand Rounds during this month, who's got a special message. And if you've noticed, the people that I brought for Grand Rounds are people that have been my great teachers. So today, I want to introduce you guys to one of my great teachers. His name is Arman Asghari. I met Arman in 1998 when I showed up as an intern at Brigham and Women's Hospital. Arman was our junior resident. He was 1 year ahead of me, and he was a force to be reckoned with. So Arman went to Miami University in Ohio, and he was summa cum laude, right? Is that summa? So he's a smart guy. Then he went to Case Western for med school, where he was AOA and matched at the Brigham for internal medicine. Arman knew, I think, from an early time that he was going to be a cardiologist, because I remember being an intern and knowing that Arman had swallowed up every major cardiovascular study and would ask you, well, why are we doing this? And you're like, and he's like, I'll tell you why. And then boom, the paper would come out, because this is before all the digital stuff. He had like all the papers we used to wear short white coats then. Like they wouldn't let us wear long white coats. With short white coats, and he would pull out the papers and he would hand them out. And I learned a lot from Arman. The other thing about Arman is that he always demanded excellence. And he did it in a very quiet, subtle way. So I'd watch his face on rounds, and when I wasn't prepared with something, he just... And I was like, oh, God damn it, I can't let that happen again. So it was corrective action, and he made me better. So after the Brigham, Arman went to the Cleveland Clinic, where he was a fellow in cardiology, and then was an attending at Case at their university hospitals. And then Cleveland wised up and brought him back, both to be the associate director of their CCU and also to help them run the fellowship program in cardiology. And so I think you'll hear that Arman's had a very unique story and a very unique journey. And I think that you'll find it for Heart Month inspirational from a heart point of view, but also connect with you from a human point of view. It's my great pleasure to introduce to you my good friend, Arman Asghari.
Thanks, man.
You got it, brother.
This is a little dangerous for me. Be up on this podium. If I go falling, just know I tripped. All right, so thank you, George, Dr. Yajazi, everybody, Mia. Thank you for having me come out this morning to talk to you. Then we'll just get rolling. Just address the elephant in the room. What is this guy going to be talking about? So I'll just tell you, I've been dealing with an issue for a long time. Sometimes it's hard for me to deal with, sometimes not. I'll just throw it out there. I've got alopecia. Some other people in this room that have the same problem I do, so they understand what's going on. If you look at the Norwood scale, which is a scale of alopecia, when I get something, I get it full tilt. I'm somewhere around 6 or 7 on the Norwood scale, so it's pretty bad. Kind of looks like the Ohio State horseshoe from an aerial view. For a long time, I didn't want to believe it. Tried many different techniques to hide it. The spray paint, hair club for men. I liked hair club because you could style it, hop in a pool, run your fingers through it.
Do you have your phone on you?
Oh yeah. Here. Thank you. And ultimately, I decided against it. But this was one of the avenues. I'm sure people have seen this. SNL, the way to treat alopecia. Finally, just accepted it. Once I understood that, it made it a lot easier. So now that I got through the heavy stuff, we can just have a nice, relaxing experience going forward with the presentation. My name's Arman Asghari. I'm a 45-year-old now, hard to believe. Invasive / critical care cardiologist. And this is not the beginning, this is neither the beginning or the end of my story. Story is one of transitions. Not as sexy as, Gladiator, who was a general, became a slave, and then became a gladiator and almost overtook the whole Roman Empire himself. It's not that cool, but it is a pretty good story of transitions. To understand what certain things meant to me, I have to explain to you what I'm passionate about. A few things in life. Family, one of the most important things that I'm passionate about, being a doctor, exercise, and vino. I say I'm not a connoisseur, I'm a consumator. So talking about family, this is my family. Most important people in my life. This is my wife here, she's here today. My 2 daughters, my son. I look pretty good there. And my dog. So this is what gives me strength. Like, Samson had his hair. I don't have that. So I've got my family, which gives me strength. About being a doctor, my father told me he's the head of rheumatology at Case Western. He's been the head there since 1997. And he told me when I was 5 years old, I told him I wanted to be a doctor, so he bought me a gold stethoscope. And he said, when you're ready, I'll give this to you. So that's basically underlines my drive to become a doctor. I went to Miami, like George said, did very well there, did well at Case. And then I went up to a nice place, Brigham, for residency. And so we'll go over all that in a little bit. But in my undergraduate experience at Miami of Ohio, I was summa cum laude in zoology, and I was a master's in barroom brawling. So, see my face there? It's pretty cool. But ultimately, after I got my education in Miami, I went to Case Medical School, graduated AOA, and then I had this interesting journey. I went from the Brigham to the Cleveland Clinic, University Hospitals. I was out of the fellowship. I was the co-director of the fellowship at UH of Cleveland. They brought me back, like George said, to the clinic. I was the co-director of the fellowship, co-director of the CCU, and the medical director of the clinical events committee for C5, which is the big research arm of the Cleveland Clinic. Then I felt like I was not being so appreciated. Went into practice for a little bit. Came back to UH because UH bought our practice. And then I kind of have been cycling around both the UH and the clinic, doing teaching faculty, consulting faculty, this kind of stuff. I don't tell you this just to blow smoke up my own, backside, and just to say I'm cool. I tell you this because I wasn't prepared. None of this experience prepared me for what a not so compassionate physician told me at a young age, 38. You've got Parkinson's. So, the volume's not working. Let me check that up, hold on. If you missed that, got another.
Unfortunately, we don't have volume for the laptop.
What's that?
We don't have volume for the laptop, unfortunately.
Okay, that's okay. That was what it felt like. Exactly what it was. You get kicked in the groin. So when I was first told I had Parkinson's, I felt like I just took that inadvertent kick that the Family Guy did. It was hard to catch my breath. One of my greatest passions was about to be challenged. I was stunned, yet I wasn't. I kind of had an idea. But numerous questions started running through my head. What did I do wrong? How will I support the family? How long will I be able to work? Does this doctor really know what he's talking about? I think I know more about it than he does, and I think he's wrong. Should I tell my boss? Tell the institution? And what would the kids think of me? So a lot of these, amongst other things, other questions, popped in my head. So I had a myriad of emotions. It's as if you're going through the phases of grief, of dying, Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. So That's how bad it was for me. But I felt guilty for some reason. I was struck with why, and I felt bad about getting it. But it was my fault. I was very angry. I'm still angry. You guys ever see The Avengers? Anyone here see the movie The Avengers, the first one? It's a good Marvel Comics movie. Well, the Captain America was trying to get the Hulk to come out of his David Banner to become the Hulk. And he turns back to Captain America and says, "You know, Captain, the thing is, I'm always angry." So there's a little bit of me that's always angry as well. But you learn to live with it. Frustrated and embarrassed. I had some subtle symptoms. I never had resting tremor. I always had intention tremor. The only time I ever started getting the resting tremor was when I started the medicines. People noted more deliberate movements. And someone told me I had no strut. Now, what's that mean? I was going back to high school. I was told I had no strut. One of my co-football players goes, "Armand, you walk very stiff." So what do you want me to walk like? He said, "Just get some strut going, man. Walk a little fluid." I said, "Okay." I had no idea what he was talking about then, but hindsight being 2020, I think this was all part of the same process. So I had a lot of fatigue, dystonia when I would run, slow ambulation, never had any resting tremor like I said. So I kept ignoring the symptoms and it was still working. And when I began to sense at work, everyone was watching my every move. Despite this, I did what a lot of physicians do. I ignored the symptoms. As physicians, you're not supposed to get sick. You're supposed to treat the sick. It's not supposed to happen to you. But believe me, it does. So I did this until there's some complaints that I may be impaired. When I went into practice, my own group looked at me and said, "There's something wrong with you." I said, "I know. What do you think it is?" He said, "We think you're impaired." In a not so forward way, they went to the vice president of the hospital, said, "We think Armand's impaired." I'm like, "What the?" And he called me in his office and he goes, "I have no idea what they're talking about. I don't believe it." He goes, "I think you have Parkinson's and you need to get help." I said, "No, thank you. Only guy at that hospital I like. The rest, they're dead to me." No, but it wasn't until I put a patient at risk one day that I finally decided I gotta do something. I was doing a cath on a generously proportioned person. Putting a needle in the artery and getting a cath up there is like, anybody can do it, to be honest with you. It's not that hard. If I can do it, anybody can do it. But I couldn't get the needle, I couldn't get myself to control my hand enough to put the needle even through the skin to get into the femoral artery. So I tried for an hour and I just finally said, I called up my buddy, happened to be one of my partners. I said, "Dude, you gotta do all these procedures." I said, he goes, "Why? Did you have Parkinson's?" I said, "How do you know, dude?" He goes, "Known for a while, you tell me if and when you were ready." Okay, so I let him, he came up to me afterwards and said, "I'll do all the procedures. You run on all the patients in the hospital. And then if I'm done with the procedures before then, I'll come help you with that." I said, "Great, fantastic." What I learned then was weakness was not asking for the help when you needed it. So you're not strong when you're holding things in and when you don't ask for help. That means you're weak. I think it's strength. I mean, you have something you can't deal with, and you need help, and to get it, seek that help. So what we did was for the next 4 months or so, we split the routine, and I was attending in the CCU at the clinic, at the UH actually, because when they bought our group, UH bought our group, so they put me on the CCU rotation at the main campus. So I was in the CCU, and routinely I would have to stop and take medicine. So what I do is I go hide in the bathroom. I hadn't told anyone other than my colleagues. So I go to the bathroom, pop a Cinemet, wait 2 to 3 hours. When it kicked in, I had about a 20-minute window, go around on a patient. Then when I started having these other things going on, like the tremors would come back, I'd run back to the bathroom, take another Cinemet. So it was taking me hours to round. When it used to take me 2 hours to round on 20 patients, it took me 2 hours to round on, 2. And that was my on time. It was miserable. So then I basically said I gotta go. Went to see a friend of mine. He said, "You gotta do what you gotta do." So after this, when I was ready to come back, got everything squared away. You guys remember the Diary of a Wimpy Kid? Anyone ever see the movie Diary of a Wimpy Kid? So Diary of a Wimpy Kid's a funny movie. The first one had this thing called the stinky cheese. Looks pretty stinky, doesn't it? But I guess if you touch a stinky cheese, no one wants you around. No one wants to deal with you. I felt like that person at UH because when I told them I was ready to come back, they said, first of all, you weren't cleared by our neurologist. I said, okay, well, what do you mean? I was cleared by a neurologist from Mass General. Is that not good enough? Like, well, we're not sure you hear what we're saying. We're not sure we have a job for you anymore. I said, oh, okay, that's a little different. So to me, whereas Parkinson's is not technically a terminal illness, to me it was because it terminated my career. One of my great passions in life. Family, career, exercise, such as PD 25, PD 90X, these kinds of things. PD Beast, I do all these things, but it was a terminating point for my career. So I asked, what should I do now? Should I stay and continue to work at a place, or try to work at a place where people don't want me? Should I change my career altogether? So I came to this crossroads and went into what I ended up doing. But I got some advice from a friend, very good friend I'll never forget. He said, try to keep perspective on life. So that's very profound. I will. This is an opportunity. I said, for what? To forget everything I've learned and just, not do what I love? He goes, no, you gotta find out what you wanna do. And he said to me, he goes, in 10, 20 years, I'll be someone's 2-second afterthought. I don't have a family. I don't have kids. I live in the hospital. All I do is read articles. And you have an opportunity to leave a legacy. You got a wife, kids. Do something for them. They can be proud and carry on what you taught them. I said, okay. So we kind of dealt with it. And I came up with this, you get what you can handle. It's a statement. Where this originally came from was one of my fellows, co-fellows was on call one night. And he comes in very excited. He goes, dudes, got a no-hitter. He's like proud of that. He didn't get any patients that night. That's what a no-hitter is. Next thing you know, my buddy was much more quick-witted than I. He goes, well, they say, you get what you can handle. And so this guy basically cowered in the corner, hugging his knees, sucking his thumb, rocking back and forth. He was like devastated. He goes, how could you do that? Well, it's just the truth. But then this also came from my mother. My older brother died of Ewing sarcoma when I was 15. My mom's first child. We were all first-generation Americans. And so my mom came to me, she goes, why does it have to happen to you? I said, Mom, you get what you can handle. I'm the only one strong enough in our family who can deal with something like this. She goes, okay, but why does it have to happen to you? I said, listen, it'll be fine. You get what you can handle. So what I'm going to talk to you about now is what the books tell you and what they don't tell you is what's it like to have Parkinson's disease. They'll tell you what they think, but I'll walk you through what it's like. It's not sunshine and rainbows. It's rigid, slow, unpredictable. It's my internal struggle. I call it a non-religious jihad. You know what I mean? Internal struggle. It's an uninvited house guest that won't ever leave. You guys ever see the movie with Sinbad? The house sitter or the house guest? It's pretty funny. Every moment is different. It's interesting, for a few moments, every day when I first get up, before my dystonia kicks in, I feel normal. I get dressed myself if I wanted to, walk a few steps. I don't understand it. I'm thankful for it, but I just really don't get it. And then after that, I start doing the medication mambo. It's like this dance between on and off. Right now I'm a little too much on, so I'm dyskinetic. And I go from here to here pretty quickly. So let me just go over the symptoms for you. That's me, actually. It was kind of a sketch. Just kidding. But these are a lot of the symptoms I get. Rigidity, soft speech. When I'm off, I definitely get a straighter, mask-like face. Not as animated as I am now. But the punch over, slow, shuffling gait. This is kind of what you learn in medical school. When I'm off, it feels like I'm a prisoner. Anyone know what this is? You wine aficionados out there? Orange Swift's flagship wine called The Prisoner, maybe 4 years ago, was sold by Orange Swift. He sold it to a company for $42 million. That company sold it to Constellation 2 years later, $252 million. So Oren was a little upset about that. This is what I feel like when I'm off. Prisoner, I can't really do anything. Kind of like this. When I'm on, though, pretty much can do whatever I want. Even when I'm hyperkinetic, the way I suppress these movements, I would start running. If I run, I'm the running man in the buildings. It suppresses the dyskinesias. Which I never read about that, but it does it. So I'm kind of like the tortoise and the hare wrapped into one. When I'm on, can't stop me. I'm the hare when I'm off. Slow and methodical. Can still get the job done, but more like the tortoise. Let's go through a walk in my cement shoes or moon boots, depending on my state. I just want to go over this real quick. This is what I say to myself every morning. Keep pounding. And if you guys know who Sam Mills is, I used to call him Mighty Mouse. 5'9" train that would run over people and tackle them for the New Orleans Saints. Inside linebacker. Not that tall, but it was just a truck. In a speech he gave the night before the playoff game, he was the linebacker coach for the Carolina Panthers. The night before the Dallas Cowboys game in 2003, their first playoff game, he said the following: when I found out I had cancer, there were two things I could do: quit or keep pounding. Because I'm a fighter, so I kept pounding. You're fighters, keep pounding, and you'll win the game tomorrow. They did. Did it for him. Carolina Panthers believe in this saying so much they put in all their inside collars of all their jerseys. And there's a Keep Pounding Foundation now for cancer awareness in Charlotte, in Carolina. So, very inspirational. So I figured this didn't work for him, it could work for me. So that's the first thing I tell myself every morning: keep pounding. Let's go through a day. 6 a.m. I get a few minutes of freedom, like I said. Then I get severe foot and leg dystonia. Start my medications and begin the waiting game. 7 to 9:30, my most normal period time with family. Try to work out, like I said, PD 90X, PD Insanity, PD Beast, you get the theme, PD 25. I've got to change the workouts because I can't do half the stuff that these guys do. So I do what I can when they're doing the stuff that looks cool. So then I am waiting. Try to do some work, reading and writing, waiting. 9:30 to 3:30, more waiting. Stooping in the chair, staring at the ground, waiting, and then I do the dance between dyskinesis and bradykinesis. And then 4 to 8:30 is my family time. When all my kids are home. When I'm able to, I do as many activities as I can with them. Between 8:30 and 10, I start to power down. 10, I stop my medications. Then you gotta deal with it all over again. What used to be so effortless is now a huge undertaking. When I'm off, I can't really talk that well. Hard to eat myself. Hard to dress myself. Taking a shower is miserable. Writing, you can't read, so I've got a double whammy when it comes to writing. Parkinson's, micrographia, on top of physician, baseline handwriting. It's awful. So what'd you say here? I have no idea. Let me see the notes you took. Sure. Really hieroglyphics. So even changing the changing the channel with the remote control is hard to do when I'm off. Someone asked me, don't the medications help? I said, sure they help. That's how I responded. Initially it returned me to quote unquote normal. But I'm so sensitive with levodopa, I get these unpredictable dyskinesias. And then I get rapid downcycling of my response, so unpredictable off phenomenon. Okay, so I would be like this. Within 2 minutes, I used to go out completely. I couldn't walk, couldn't do anything. So I'd be driving back and forth to work. Next thing you know, I'm like, oh man, it's coming. Stop, pull over the shoulder of the highway, pop a couple Cinnamon and wait till I could move again. So I mean, it was very difficult. Then I developed diphasic dyskinesias. When I'm going from off period, medicine's not working, to on, or I'm going from on, when they're working, back to off, both shoulder periods is where I get ridiculous symptoms. And that's where I get the worst dyskinesias. I can't control them. I go kicking. I mean, it's good if ever I wanted to find someone I didn't like, put them in front of me during those periods, I'll take them out. Or if they let me do UFC, when I'm actually in one of those shoulder periods, I could probably win my weight class. I'll be kicking like a champ. So I saw a new MD perspective. He listened and offered hope. He said deep brain stimulation would be a game changer for you, Armand. But he said duodopa, now called duopa, is the next best thing. That's what I chose initially. In the clinical trial, I've been on duopa for 6 years now. I'm amazed my PEG J tube's still around. Haven't had to replace that yet, but what duopa is, it's levodopa carbidopa in an intestinal gel format. It's delivered continuously into the jejunum, and it's supposed to have less ons and offs. I still have cycling, but instead of having these things, huge ones like this, they're subtle, much more subtle. This is, it doesn't kill me, it only makes me stronger. Paraphrasing Nietzsche. Truly believe Parkinson's made me a better physician, though, and I think it more importantly made me a better person. Whereas before I had good bedside manner, I'm much more in tune with the needs of patients now. At least that's what I found out. I guess they could just see it in your eyes. I mean, when you see a patient, you connect with them, you just know instantaneously, you made a connection. And I think I actually became better than I used to be. And it was pretty good to begin with. So this is how I improved. Stronger, faster than a speeding train, able to leap over tall buildings. Oh man, that's a different story. That's how I really improved. I thought I was empathic. I noted more empathy. I became a better listener. Understand the fear patients feel when they're sick. Even if they come to you with big toe pain, you know it's the gout. And that's not that big of a deal. But they chill out. It's really not that bad. Give them a little cold scene, they'll be all right. They're coming to you because they're scared out of their wits. They're petrified. Because when you go to WebMD, you go in with toe pain, you come out with stage 4 cancer. You know what I mean? So what you gotta do is understand what they're going through and put yourself in their shoes. Even though you're busy seeing 35 patients a day, you've got to try to do that. Because then you'll understand why they're petrified. You got to focus on the positives. I became more tolerant. As George said, I used to give him that look. Probably wouldn't give him that look as easily now. I'd let him mess up even more, and then I'd say, okay, time to fix it. But I became more patient. I learned to keep my perspective. And I learned, we all say this all the time, but it's amazing when something happens to you. Life is fragile, and you can't take anything for granted. You know, you're not promised, tomorrow's not promised to anybody. So I also learned that doctor makes a difference. To be honest with you, the first doc, let's go over these two scenarios. Doctor 1 has the pedigree, is emotionally removed, vague, and treats the disease. Doesn't really connect with you. Doesn't try to be empathic, understand what you're going through. This is what it is. Or Doctor 2, how I thought I was and how I'd expect all the people that train under me to be. Has a pedigree. You offer hope. You're willing to work with the people through the situation to make it better for them, no matter what that is. And you treat the person. Kind of like Patch Adams.
You treat a disease, you win, you lose. You treat a person, I guarantee you win.
So we're going to turn on this mic. Basically says, You treat a disease, you win, lose. You treat a person, he guarantees you win every time. That's how I kind of pursue things. But there's one thing I want to make sure we listen to. And I'll put this here when we do the next one. All right. There are some positives to Parkinson's. It's not all negative. One is I get chauffeured whenever I want. I have built-in designated drivers for my Vino, my 4th grade passion, Consumator. So you guys know I'm driving Miss Daisy. Look in the back seat. It's me. Preferred parking. Problem is, whenever you have your placard with you, there's never a spot. When you don't, plenty of spots around. Got a heck of a poker face. I've always wanted to go to WSOP, World Series of Poker, and win. Be the next millionaire, first millionaire with Parkinson's. I just haven't had a chance to get out there yet. This is good. It's an excuse if I strike or kick somebody. Say we have a bad meeting. Oh, yeah, no hard feelings, no hard feelings. Whack! Sorry, it's the Parkinson's. My bad. It's a perennial rain check producer. If ever you don't feel like doing something, it's a good card to drop. You just say, can't do it. My Parkinson's is making me feel badly today. This is one I never really realized until we went to Mexico. Expedited airport navigation. You go right to the front of everything. Through customs, took us 5 minutes to get through it. Everyone's like, what are they doing? None of your business. So, but as Michael J. Fox likes to say, you can use Parkinson's for any excuse. Just play this, see if I can find a way to get you guys to hear this. Hold on.
For over a month, I haven't heard the clomping.
Am I bullshitting you? I mean,
I don't know. I'll tell you what I think. You know what I think, Fox?
I'm hanging on it.
Are you? I think you were upset about the shushing. I think you were pissed off about the
Did you
Hitler
hear that?
mustache on your
No.
father-in-law. I think you shook up that can of soda on purpose. And I think you're clomping now, and you've made up some bullshit excuse
You guys hear
about
that?
your feet, and it's all under the guise of Parkinson's. That's what I think.
Huh? I thought I was the sickest guy on this block, but you're the new champ. I have a sickness in my brain. You have a sickness in your mind. Your mind it's gone over. Oh, it's fascinating if it wasn't so fucking tragic. Oh,
Sorry about
So you deny the whole thing.
it's all Parkinson's, Larry. It's all Parkinson's.
The head shake at the bar? Parkinson's.
I was trying to get it to go on the
Soda?
thing.
Parkinson's.
Clomping?
Parkinson's.
You sure?
Yeah, Larry. I'm dead certain.
Sorry about that. I'll send the clip to George to distribute. It's pretty funny. All right. Is this working? Bueller. Okay. Good. So, I look at Parkinson's as two things. It's my curse and also my gift. And you may ask, how can it be a gift? I'll tell you how it's going to be. It can be a gift. It's made my family much stronger. I've had more time to spend with my family, get to know my wife better, get to spend time, see my kids grow up. Never would have had that because I was very driven with my career. So I thank Parkinson's for that. What I've been able to teach my kids was just through how I handle things has also been an awesome experience for me to see them actually pick this up and this attitude about whatever comes your way. You just got to deal with it. Everyone gets something. No one's going to be immune from getting something. It's not what you get, it's how you respond to it that makes you who you are. It's also allowed me to evolve as a person from Cro-Magnon, which I was when I met George, to Homo sapien, which I am now. So I was definitely a Neanderthal back then. So the question was before, what should I do now? And it's interesting, it's ironic. When I did not have Parkinson's, I was very rigid in my path. There was no veering, no trying new things. I went tunnel vision to the goal. We were talking about that last night, George. But now with Parkinson's, I'm physically rigid, figuratively, I'm much more fluid. So I've done a lot of things since I got this. I started a medical advocacy organization in Cleveland called Premier Health Advocates, where only physicians provide the service. And it's like we asked the question, what would healthcare be like if everyone had a doctor in their family? If you remember when you guys were growing up, if anyone here had doctors in their family, the kind of care you get was infinitely better than you get now. You know what I mean? So you call your dad or your loved one or your family member up, say, I have these symptoms, what do I do? Who do I go see? How can I get in expeditiously? Don't worry about it. Go see John, call him, you go right now, and you're on the way. So that's the concept. We want everyone to have a doctor in the family, and that's the kind of care we try to get for them. The kind of care I got, at least when I was when I was growing up with my dad as the head of rheumatology. So one thing I've done. Another one is I started a heart failure initiative to decrease readmissions from people in the nursing home space. And I've learned just with education of the teams that you have there, you can decrease readmission rates down to the low single digits. And so we learned what amount of time you have to spend between refresher courses. And I think there's one durable, my test place on the near west side of Cleveland, I've not worked with them for 3 years. Their readmission rates are still under 5%. So it's durable. And their turnover for STNAs, whereas the national average is 75%, theirs is like 20%. So engage everyone in the team, you'll decrease heart failure readmissions. It's a pretty simple formula. Another one is hemodynamics. I teach hemodynamics to nurse practitioners. I was the senior editor on a hemodynamics book called Cardiovascular Hemodynamics, an Introductory Guide. If you look at how many chapters people edited, I edited 13 out of 16. So that's why I'm the senior editor. So I think I know hemodynamics. That's my wheelhouse. And then Case, I'm teaching faculty at Case still. Like I said, I'm much more fluid than I ever was before. As things come, I'm able to adapt much easier now. So a friend of mine asked me, listen, Armand, why do you always have a smile on your face? Never upset. I'm dealing with this knee issue. No, not nearly as bad as what you're dealing with, but you're never not smiling. I said, can always be worse. It's the truth. I could have got pancreatic cancer. Or I could have got Ewing sarcoma and died from that like my older brother did. Or I could have got influenza myocarditis like my best friend died the day before I interviewed at the Cleveland Clinic for Cardiology, died from that. You know, I could have had a lot of other things. It could always be worse. So what I got's a nuisance. You gotta learn to deal with it. The other thing I learned is it can happen to anyone. Remember when I was a medical student, I'd be sitting in a room like this, someone like me would come up and give a talk about their trials and tribulations they've got to go through. I'd be sitting back there, that's awful. Not gonna happen to me. Brother died of Ewing sarcoma. I always said, not gonna happen to me. Best friend died of myocarditis. Not gonna happen to me. Something happened, obviously. Can happen to anyone. So, you know, I don't want to be nihilistic, but this can happen to anyone. So that's an important point. Another one is don't wait to reinforce why you went into medicine. We all said when we were interviewing, I'm sure, want to help people. Somewhere along the way, a lot of people forget that, or they don't have time to think about that. I mean, the problem is that everyone's telling you to work smarter, not harder. You know, I don't know how far that goes, but you do want to always remember, at least I went into medicine to take care of the people. You're their advocate. You're the last bastion of hope for these people, some of these people. And you've got to make sure you're there for them when they need you. And so I still think this is the best profession there is. But just gotta always think back, why did I go into medicine? And don't let the man bring you down. You know what I mean? Just keep on doing what you do, and I think you will be much happier and much more rewarded. More lessons I learned from Parkinson's. Don't walk and text. Goes for everyone with or without Parkinson's. It's dangerous. I mean, some people go right into water fountains. Guys falling off a cliff. I've almost gotten hit by a couple cars. You know, so my wife always tells me, she takes my phone away from me when we go anywhere. Another one is don't shave with a straight razor or a multi-bladed razor. You gotta go electric when you have Parkinson's. Very dangerous. I'm gonna try not to be a hero. What that means is people are generally good. What I've learned is a lot of people out there care. They don't just feel sorry for you, they actually care and they want to help. So I used to be like, do you want me to get that door for you? No, I got it. I'm sitting there for a half hour trying to open this damn door, excuse my language. And I was like, let me just help you. I said, okay. So you don't be a hero. Let people help you. They generally are good and they want to help. And then I said, being positive is infectious. I'm gonna try and get this last thing to play for us. Hold on one second. This is a great clip from a very inspirational person, Rocky Balboa.
The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Sounds a little better. Did you guys hear that in the back? Yeah. Rocky's the man. So I've learned life is tough, but I'm tougher. Another quote, you guys don't know who John Wooden is? Winningest most coach in the NCAA tournament history, 11 championships. UCLA, he's got a whole book of quotes. This is don't let what you can't do, and I always throw in tomorrow, interfere with what you can do today. So my name is Armand Ascari. I'm a 45-year-old invasive / critical care cardiologist with Parkinson's, and this is neither the beginning nor the end of my story. Thank you. Thanks. Any questions? I made it a point to say I don't answer any questions. No, I'm kidding. Any questions out there?
Anyone have questions? Armand, I was curious. As this disease, as you became aware of this, how has it changed? How did it change how you approach the patients when you see them day to day? How did it change, like in a practical way? How did it change?
Practical way, I guess, like I said earlier, I spent more time with them. I wasn't as rushed. Even though I knew there was a lot of time, there was times when it wasn't letting people know what was going on with me, I still had to see these patients. It just took me a lot longer. But I spent more time with them, and I didn't feel as rushed. So I figured, if I got this, might as well use the benefits of understanding and empathizing with them and connecting with them. So what I usually did, where I never did this before, I would start using movie quotes, ask them what their favorite movie is. I watch a lot of movies. I'm like Elf. I usually get a full 40 minutes of sleep every night because I'm watching a lot of movies. So you guys ever see Elf? So buddy, did you get some sleep? Yeah, I got a full 40 minutes. So I'd say watching movies, and then I would try to connect with the patient through the movies. I found ways to connect with them. If they didn't watch movies, I watched TV shows or talk about sports or something that you can connect with them. Once you make that connection, then all bets are off. The relationship will only get better. The other thing I learned is you got to give a little of yourself up to really connect with somebody. You know, this rigid doctor-patient relationship, don't tell them what you like to do, don't say I have the same thing. And I don't think that really that plays into how you treat patients. I mean, we're there to treat them, not robots. So you got to give a little bit of yourself up. Sometimes let them know that you may be understanding what they're doing through something that you've experienced. And when they understand that you're letting down your guard and you're being vulnerable to them, that's when they really connect with you, I think. That's what I've learned. Any other questions? Yes?
How did you overcome your guilt from having illness? Because I think that's something a lot of us also feel, even if we just have a temporary illness.
Right.
about taking time off and away from work?
It's very hard. I mean, I finally realized that you can only do so much. Once I realized I was not a super person and couldn't do everything, then I learned you can also ask for help. So, and people are more understanding of you when you're up front with them and say, listen, I'm feeling like bad things and I need to go home because I'm not doing anyone a service right now. Can you cover for me? And you're just honest with people, you'll get good responses. And I also learned that it's hard to get rid of that guilt. I'm still guilty, I'm not practicing anymore. So that's one of the hardest feelings to get over, I think, when you're ill. I remember I had influenza as a first-year resident, intern at the Brigham. I was out 5 days with 104 fever. And every day I wanted to go back, but I was on bone marrow transplant. Like, stay home until you're better. But I felt guilty about that. So that's a great, great point. It's hard to get over that. Use your people around you. Talk to your bosses. I mean, everyone's much more understanding, I learned, than I gave them credit for. You know? So I think it's, once you realize who you go to and talk to, and everyone here wants to help you. You just gotta ask for it. Any other questions?
Brother, I want to thank you for coming, man.
Thank you.
It's always good to see you.
Thank you, George.